An ordinary 19-year-old goes to an alternative financial world and takes it by storm. It can make you rich as hell, but it can ruin you in a way that you can't tell. A college student receives a cash card that gives him an infinite amount of cash and superpowers. They say that money doesn't matter, but that is not the case with the alternative world of Financial District, where your only way of survival is making money and staying away from bankruptcy before your life in the real world turns upside down. This is the story of today's anime, Control Money and Soul of Possibility. This is Kimimaru Yoga, a sophomore economics student living who barely has the money to go out drinking with his friends, which is why he works part-time at a grocery store owned by Shimada to make extra money. Later that night, Yoga meets up with his classmate, Hanabi, who gives him her notes. As Yoga studies those notes, a mysterious man named Masakaki emerges in the apartment and informs him he's been chosen to become an entrepreneur, entree for short, in an alternate world called Financial District. Masakaki emerges to help anyone who needs money, so he'll also lend him the money, only if Yoga agrees to give up his future as a guarantee for repayment. At first, Yoga rejects, but starts having second thoughts after Masakaki tempts him with the money. Suddenly, Yoga snaps awake. Much to his shock, Yoga checks his balance in the ATM machine to find 500,000 yens, which is equal to $3,000. In order to go out for a drink with his friends, Yoga tries withdrawing the money, but Masakaki appears with a black card and takes him to Financial District. Masakaki shows Yoga around Financial District and explains the rules. Now that Yoga is a member of this world, he is an entree who must engage in weekly battles known as deals in order to make money. Every entree has a black card and a companion. Yoga's companion is a horned girl named Mashu. Yoga is instantly introduced to his first opponent, Gig. The deal starts. Not understanding how it works, Mashu gets hurt while trying to defend Yoga, but after following Mashu's instructions, Yoga defeats Gig and wins the deal. Yoga passes out and wakes up in his apartment in the real world, only to find Masakaki congratulating him on his first win and informing him that if he loses or runs out of money, he'll be punished. Of course, Yoga can go in and out of the Financial District whenever he wants, as the money he gains from winning will be added to his bank account, more specifically in the black card. However, Yoga is still working at the store in the real world. While he's there, a robber storms the place. The man who runs Financial District in Japan named Mikuni walks in and saves the day by giving the robber some cash. After Yoga thanks Mikuni, Mikuni reveals he's from the Financial District, implies he knows Yoga's parents and tells Yoga he has talent. This is Jennifer, an entree working for an organization trying to uncover the secrets of the Financial District, and more specifically, Mikuni, who has many companies and job titles in the real world, and who owns Japan and Financial District. Meanwhile, Yoga visits his aunt and asks about his parents who disappeared for no reason. As he looks into his father's stuff, he finds a notebook with numbers and the words Midas written on it. Much to his shock, given that Midas is money from Financial District, Yoga seeks Mikuni for answers. Mikuni takes him to a photographer named Shigeyami who knows a lot of things and sells information. He reveals that Yoga's dad was a strong entree who won many deals, but lost big time at a deal and committed suicide afterwards. When Yoga asks what kind of man his father was, Shigeyami reveals he was a man who's all about the money. Not having any memories of his father, Yoga cries as he looks at a picture of his father on the cover of a notebook carrying him when he was a baby. Afterwards, Yoga encounters his economics professor, Ibarra, who came to Financial District in order to provide for his pregnant wife and 2 children. Ibarra challenges his student to a deal. Ibarra gets the upper hand first, but Yoga overpowers him eventually and wins the deal. Before Ibarra can protest, Masakaki kicks him out of Financial District. The next day, when Yoga approaches his professor and apologizes for their deal, Ibarra invites him to his home and reveals that his 3 children, including the unborn, were erased from existence as punishment for losing the deal. Because he ruined his teacher's life, Yoga is upset. For this reason, Yoga goes to Mikuni, who shows him the proper way of winning deals. That's why he has Yoga watch a deal between him and Kikuchi, a high-level entree and owner of a big company in the real world. The deal begins. Mikuni deliberately holds back and lets Kikuchi get the upper hand. At the last seconds, Mikuni uses his power and wins by a small margin in order not to ruin Kikuchi's company in the real world. So Yoga decides to win deals by a small margin. He doesn't want to make anyone miserable like he did with Ibarra. For this reason, Mikuni introduces Yoga to a group he runs. Each deal affects the real world. This group's job is to make sure the real world doesn't get affected too much. Yoga tries to practice that by starting a deal with another entree. Before he can win at the last second, Mashu rushes in, costing Yoga the deal. As a punishment for losing the deal by a small margin, Yoga's marks at college drop. Later, Kikuchi starts a deal with another high-level entree, Yasushi, who also has massive holdings. Both entrees damage each other severely and Kikuchi loses. As a result, his company runs out of money, making lots of people jobless. However, Mikuni tells Yoga he bought Kikuchi's company and saves a lot of people from unemployment. That's what his special group is for, saving lives, which is why Yoga decides to join. Soon after, Yoga is approached by a celebrity owning a big charity foundation named Sonoza, who tells Yoga not to make the deal in order to avoid its effects on the real world. At night, Yoga is approached by Jennifer, who mentions that Mikuni uses huge sums of money from Financial District to prevent poverty in the real world. When Mikuni does this, he affects the future of some people. The next day, Yoga meets up with Sonoza, who reveals that he lost a deal once that caused some of the poor people he helped to disappear from existence. That's why Sonoza advises him to not take the deal, for the sake of the future. Not sure about taking the deal, Yoga seeks advice from Mikuni, who indirectly tells him to take the deal. So, Yoga takes the deal with Sonoza. The deal starts. Sonoza attacks Yoga with his massive power and injures severely Mashu. As Yoga holds Mashu in his arms, he decides to keep fighting until the last breath. The next day, we find out that Yoga won the fight. As a punishment for losing, Sonoza's charity foundation ran out of money. Sonoza decides to start over and build a new business somewhere else. If you're enjoying the script so far, then hit the like button and subscribe with the notification bell to get updated every time we upload. In a flashback, we meet a younger Mikuni. He was a failed musician, and after losing his passion for music, he started working as a secretary for his cold-hearted father, Masafumi, the boss of a big networking company. Moreover, Mikuni has a sister named Takaki, who has an illness that can't be cured. One day, Masafumi's company runs out of money, and Takaki's illness becomes worse. What's even worse, Masafumi uses the money he has left to save his company instead of his daughter. Must be father of the year. Because of the lack of medical care, Takaki slips to a coma as she shares one last moment with her brother. The days went on, and Mikuni keeps working for his father until Masakaki shows up at his office and takes him to the financial district. There, Mikuni wins his first deal, becomes rich, and decides to use this alternate world to protect the real world from poverty. Back to the present, banks in the financial district run out of money, causing the disappearance of people in the real world. As poverty rates increase more, people become depressed after losing their jobs. Yoga spots his teacher trying to commit suicide to get his children back, but Yoga saves him and decides to find a way to solve this. Therefore, Yoga proposes to Masakaki that he pays a fee to get Ibar's children back, but Masakaki tells him he can't do anything about it. After Yoga learns that Masakaki died in an accident, he decides to burn a huge amount of his money because money ruins people's lives. As more areas in Financial District run out of money, Mikuni decides to act against it. Parts of Japan and Financial District run out of money and start disappearing from the real world. In order to protect the rest of Japan from poverty, Mikuni uses the special black card to print money bills in Financial District in exchange for 20 years of his future and of the future and the people in Japan and the real world to support the failing banks and companies. This saves Japan from poverty in the time being, but steals away its future, including the future of its people. That explains why people around Yoga start disappearing, including Mr. Shimada. This is because they have no future, and if they have no future, then their existence is pointless. When Yoga visits Hanabi, he's shocked to find her depressed, barely able to remember her name. Her personality is erased because she has no future. At this point, Yoga realizes that this is all Mikuni's fault because of the money he printed to save Japan for the time being, but it stole the future of the people, making people live this miserable existence. For this reason, Jennifer teams up with Yoga to restore the future. Entrees from North America start supplying the poor countries with dollars, causing the value of many currencies to decrease, including the yen, which Mikuni uses to protect Japan's economy. In order to prevent that, Mikuni decides to print more yens. Yes, there is an America in the Financial District, because the Financial District is a parallel world to the real world. Meanwhile, Jennifer, Shigeami, and Yoga plan to stop Mikuni from doing so. All they have to do is crush the value of the yen currency, since that Mikuni's power depends on it. While Japan is showered with dollar bills, Jennifer challenges Mikuni to a deal. The two fight until Mikuni has his companion, Q, distract Jennifer, allowing him to deliver the final blow and win. Eventually, Jennifer is seen split in half, lying flat on the ground. Mikuni orders the printing of more money. However, Yoga confronts him and challenges him to a deal. Mikuni and Yoga fight each other and exchange blows. Eventually, both men get the chance to kill each other, but their powers disappear and financial district starts collapsing after the yen currency became without value in the real world because the American dollar became the official currency of Japan. This allows Yoga to land the final punch, leading to his victory. Because he won the deal, Yoga stops the printing and buys back the future. In a final scene, Yoga meets the god of the financial district, who tells him there is no right or wrong. Everybody did what they could to make the world a better place. And if you want to make the world a better place, please smash the like button down below and subscribe, or else we'll track you down and take your future.